Hey, so this episode, I will just go through what I've done in my creative world to for the power, and then I'll be building it up in the survival world later after this. I just wanted to um, keep you informed about what's happened, what I'm up to, and stuff instead of having just such a big thing just all happen, and because it's going to take me a little while to get it all crafted and stuff. So this is part of my original experimentation with the squeezer and the fermenter and the biodiesel. The diesel generator used to be there, and then noticing that the diesel generator is very, very bad, but these compression dynamos are a lot better, and the amount of biofuel that would power one diesel generator could power, I believe there's 16 compression dynamos, and I could kind of get a miner running on that. My next system was trying out a different fuel. So if you take coal ore and you pulverize it, you get coal, and then if you pulverize it again, well, crush, these are crushers, so if you crush it, you get pulverized coal, and then you put that in a magma crucible. It makes liquefacted coal, and we can use liquefacted coal as a fuel, and that can be upgraded. Compression. Yeah, so liquefacted coal, but then we can also put that through a fractionating still to get naphtha, and then naphtha can also be put through a fractionating still to get refined fuel. Now, refined fuel is this one. It's the top 1.5 million RF. The only one that gets close, we've got gasoline at 1.2. So naphtha, the second one, does 1 mil, and that's it. But I couldn't get it to run. This doesn't generate enough coal quick enough to keep this supplied with fuel. So yeah, even with this is a tier 2 miner, and I've given it, I gave it, at least I thought I gave it 4 speed upgrades. It looks like maybe the looks a bit messed up. Anyway, it just wasn't performing well enough to run the thing, so I wasn't getting very much power. It was nice to be getting the ores as part of the power generation, but yeah. So what I moved on to was the canola farm. My original intention was to do canola power right from the start, but first of all, I kind of got sidetracked a little bit, and second, they've made it expensive enough that you can't just start doing it straight from the get-go. So the farmer requires empowered emeradic crystals, 4 gold plates, and diamond hose. So it's not terribly expensive, and if I remembered, if I prioritized it more to keep looking at that, probably would have had a system up and running long ago, but I didn't. And we went with the water wheels, which have been fine. But yeah, we probably could have started with the lower tier canola farm a lot sooner. Anyway, I've set out this farm, which is the approximate size of the farm that I can do within my tower. We've got 4 farmers set up, going into here, and then they drop all their stuff into the storage drawer system, and then from there we pull out the canola into these presses, which turn into canola oil, and then into fermenting barrels, which turn the canola oil into refined canola oil. And so I was doing that and piping those into compression generators, compression dynamos, which also require water, which is easy. We can just get that from the sink. And yeah, it wasn't doing too bad. I was getting about 750 RF per tick, enough to power a miner with just a little bit of power left over. But I decided we would go one step further, and do tier 3 canola power, which is where you take the seeds. So we're grabbing seeds from the storage drawer. We are dispensing them out here. As you can see, dispense a seed, which triggers the atomic reconstructor, which turns it into a crystallized seed, and that gets picked up here. It's not right now because the system's full and I haven't put a void upgrade here. So if I quickly do that, and there we go, it's picking them up. See, so what it is the precision dropper only drops when it's not receiving a signal, and when it drops a seed onto the pressure plate, it receives a signal, so it blocks it from constantly pushing them out. And that pressure plate trigger as well sends a redstone pulse to the atomic reconstructor, which then reconstructs into the crystallized. Then we have a ranged collector here, which is filtering on these crystallized ones, which is picking them up, putting them into the drawer. The drawer is then sending them into here, this dispenser, which is filled with crystallized canola seeds. And now, instead of feeding the refined oil into the compression dynamos, we are now feeding it over here into this tank, which is sitting on top of a builder. And we've got another builder here. So what these builders can do is basically they interact with the world. And we're using these ones, this one for placing liquids, and this one's for pumping up liquids. So what we're doing here is we've got a timer which sends a signal to this RF builder, and this dispenser, and it's all timed so that this gets shot, then this gets shot, putting the liquid in, which turns it into the thing, and then after a delay, this pulls up the liquid and puts it into here as the empowered canola oil, I believe it's called. Anyway, you could see just a bit of it going through there. It kind of happens a bit too quickly for the visuals to show. It's a bit glitchy. These things are triggering. And yeah, what we're doing here is we're running a comparator from the tank. Now, this tank holds 20 buckets. Redstone signal strength goes from 0 to 15. So 0 is obviously 0 in here, and then each little bit goes up, so it's about 2 buckets worth that it gets a signal strength of 1. So what we're doing is we're pushing it, we're quasi-connecting this grass block, which then puts it through here. I don't know if you can see, but that's a power of 1. So 1 isn't strong enough to get to the repeater. And what a repeater does is it basically gives a signal strength of 15, no matter what the strength is coming into it. So as soon as it gets to 2, which means that we've got at least 1 bucket in here, then it sends a signal like it did there, which powers this, quasi-connects onto here, which turns off this redstone torch, which allows the timer to run and activate this. So if we completely fill this up, we'll put a creative tank on here with infinite liquid. This would just be able to run all the time. Every second it would pump more. Yeah, it doesn't really, so you can see the little particles as it things, but you can't really tell that it's converting. But obviously you can see every now and then the fluid coming through the pipes. From there, yeah. And then, yeah, it comes into here, crystallized oil. And so it makes just enough to power these. I think there's 56 compression dynamos here. Yeah, which gives us 1.5 or 1.7-ish KRF per tick, which is easily enough to power the miner and have some left over to power a big battery and fill that all up, so that when we do have some machines, because a lot of the things like the centrifuge and electrolytic separator and stuff, all the things to make the fancy metals like chrome and titanium, will they won't be running constantly. We won't get enough of supply of ore and stuff like that, so we don't need a constant huge supply of like 10k RF per tick or anything at the moment. This will do nicely, and this can be upgraded a lot still, even though, so we're on tier 3 oil, but we can still go to tier 4 oil, which also uses an empowerer to make empowered seeds, which are put in to make empowered oil. But also the compression dynamos as well are tier 1, and they can be upgraded to tier 5. So I haven't actually seen what the difference is, but I know that just going from a normal compression dynamo to a hardened compression dynamo gives me an extra 15%. So if we just search kit, so we've got tier 1, this is tier 2 is hardened, tier 3 is reinforced, tier 4 is signalum, and tier 5 is resonant. So resonant is the top one. So hopefully I don't need any of these things. We should be able to see some numbers. So if we have a look here, power output 40 RF, maximum power 40 RF. So we do that, notice the edges have changed color. Now we're at 60. Now we're at 80. So I wonder if it's just going to go up by 20s each time. That's 100. This one, most likely 120. Yeah, so 120. So we're starting at 40. We can basically triple the output of those machines without even changing the fuel, and then changing the fuel as well So yeah, our top one is 700,000. Currently we're doing 400,000, so not quite double. But then if we do that, say it's double, and then that's triple, so it's like 6 times the power output. So we can probably get close to 8k RF per tick out of these as soon as we have them all upgraded, which is a considerable amount of power within this pack as far as I know. We have and that's the Electrocraft stuff. Okay, might be. I'm pretty sure there is nuclear reactors in here somewhere. There's the creative power. Might be part of the advanced rocketry stuff. Smoky power, thermal, that's all GP stuff. Phenomenal cosmic power. That's the top tier power cell. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I got this working. Made sure it ran for a while, that it will run. And nothing will back up or blow up or anything like that. Quite happy. Set up all these kind of circuit things myself. You can't see, there's a little bit more to it. Yeah. So what I did then was I came here and I set up a tower that's the same size as the tower I've got in my survival world, and set up all my stuff in here. So what we've got here is 2 rows of our compression dynamos. I believe there is 56 of them. I don't know. Enough. You'll notice I'm not using those fancy power cables. So those cables out there that I'm using are called Cryo stabilized flux ducts, which are the top tier power cables with unlimited transfer speed. So this is more towards what I can actually make within my survival world. And then we're using the fluid pipes from Immersive Engineering instead of the fluid ducts. So yeah, I haven't turned this on yet to see whether it all works. I managed to get it all sorted. There's the storage drawers and stuff. There's the range collector, and there's the atomic reconstructor with the pressure plate. Here's the. I managed to compress this down a little bit. So there's the thing and the timer and that, and these are the fermenting barrels. And then I believe it's still got Here's the canola farm with the you got power and items coming out, and that's why there's glowstone on the top, is to keep it lit up, make sure they're growing. You can see here some of the pipes running through. We've got the same thing under here, some power. So in my real world, this is where the miner is, below that level. This is where the current diesel generator is. You can see I've got set up my big battery here, which can hold 720 million RF. So it will take a long time to fill that up. But yeah, so one of the last things we've got to do is set up a clearing pump shape card and a placing liquid shape card. Right, which I need to fill this in. And then I just give it the area which I want, which is only a 1x1 block. And then I can add it in. Need to redo that then. Forgot I was in creative for a second, so I held down the mouse. We need to look at once. So that should give it the shapes, and then what we need is grab our creative energy. Use exposed power. Yeah. Right, so that is, you can see the farms up top are harvesting. Now, one of the things here is that it might take a while, because this needs to fill up with seeds before it starts outputting seeds onto the thing. So what I might do is just leave it, let it run, and see how it goes. So it sucked up a decent amount of power. It should keep it running. It would have filled. These will all fill up. So you see you got the canola coming in, creates the canola oil, pushed into the fermenting barrel. Canola oil gets turned into refined canola oil, which is now filling up this tank. You can see it's placed the liquid, but we don't have a seed yet. So actually what we can do, it is doing the seeds. So because I put some seeds in there before, so it's got 168. So why? I haven't put this up. Right. Down here. Alright, because it didn't get the initial trigger, now it's waiting for this to have enough. So we should see it trigger soon. There we go. Yep, and it's just converted it. That's not. Oh well, I'll figure that out. I must have set this up wrong. I've got the repeater going into here, quasi-connecting that, but that must not be triggering the builder. So I think if I just right. Oh, I'll figure that out later. But yeah, you can see. I think it looks alright. It fits in nicely, and hopefully we'll yeah, get it all working, and then I can basically copy this over to my other world. I quite like this wood, purple heart wood. I don't know how to get it yet, but I quite like it. I kind of like this purple with the mint and the black. I don't like the black for the walls. I originally did the mint, but the builder's wand turned it black when I went up. But yeah, things to play around with. Yeah, one of the problems is any kind of building material you want, you can't get something too high end that's going to take a long time to get. Right? But yeah, I'll leave it here. I'll fix that little issue, which is fine. It's going smooth. I knew because I basically built this whole thing without even testing any of it, so I knew that there would be one or two issues. But yeah, overall I'm really happy with this system, and I'll get it built in my survival world. And yeah, I still haven't decided whether I power one or two miners. I'm thinking one, and just want it running for the copper and the tin. And so I think they still want you to manually mine quite a lot, which is fine. I can do all that sort of stuff. The stuff I don't like is when I get back and I have to push all the resources into different places and stuff and things. And so what will be nice is now I will have storage drawers like these down at the either at the miner, or what I've set up is another level above the farm. So I've just built another level on top. I can put all the ore processing on there. I think that's what I'll do. So the miner will just suck power from the level above it and then send all the items up, and there'll be a storage drawer here which picks them all up. And yeah, same idea I've got here, where we just have a line of drawers. Each of them has a hopper coming out with the item laser relay, which lets me push those items where I want them. All drawers locked and void upgraded. I'll be putting some other upgrades as well. I think these things are fairly expensive from what I remember. Glass in a drawer and some sticks, and 1 minute. Yeah, so if I make a stack of upgrades, that takes okay, and the first upgrade is, yeah, these are going to be expensive. Well, that's fine, it's worth it. But I think for the moment, for the scale I'm doing, I think without any upgrades isn't going to be too crazy. And then as I get the upgrades, I can upgrade them to keep more and more. But at the moment, I've got other things more important to spend iron and copper on. And that's the whole point of this. Right, the new power is to have miner so that I can stop worrying about how much iron and how much copper and how much diamonds and stuff things cost, because things cost quite a lot. So yeah, after that ore processing, and then we'll be trying to do more quests on this, on the Industrial Rebirth. I have actually done enough to unlock these, the Machina and Mechanisms. So yeah, we are making a little bit of progress. But yeah, I want to be solid on the ore processing, and I need lots of advanced circuits and electronic circuits and stuff. So I want to make sure that I can have those processes as automated as possible at this point, because at the moment it takes a lot of manual work to do, especially the advanced circuits. They're pretty crazy. But yeah, I'll leave it there for now, and hopefully next video this will all be set up and live in my actual survival world. I'll see you then.